This week, come with me while I take on back-to-back long runs.
Don't stop.
Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather and I am glad you are here today. So today we are doing the first day of back-to-back long runs, and so I'm going to be doing around 3 hours today and then around 3 hours tomorrow. What I'm doing is I am trying to simulate the pace that I'm going to be using at the 24-hour run that I'm doing in late November. Now this means that I'm going super slow and keeping things in zone 2 as much as possible, which means a super slow pace compared to what I would do for, say, a half marathon or so. So what I am doing is I am doing a run walk method. It's going to bring me to around a 14 to 15 minute mile. Again, very slow, but if I want to pace myself to continually run over 24 hours, that's what I'm going to have to do. What I'm trying to do is get between 6 and 9 miles every 3 hours. Do that 8 times over the course of an evening, and that's going to give me around a 45 or so minute break every time that I finish a section, so I can refuel, recharge, make sure that my electronics are good to go, and make sure that I'm hydrated, that I'm working out any knots in my legs or anything like that. So that is my plan. So today we're just going to go for what would be a normal 3-hour session over the course of that evening. So we're going to see if we can get between 6 and 9 miles done over the course of 3 hours today. I have got some scratch labs ready to go. I have got a little bit of fueling, and of course I'm going to have a whole lot more options the day of the race because we have a full aid station right at the beginning of the loop, and it's a 1 mile loop, or around 1 mile loop, that we do over and over the course of the night with a full aid station, plenty to choose from. But it's always good practice with my own stuff, make sure that I can at least handle that and then see what else I can handle over the course of the night, trying to make sure that I keep my strength up. So that is the plan for now. So we are just going to ease into it and start with our run. Let's go.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't.
Okay, we are a couple miles in, doing great at keeping it under a 15-minute mile, closer to 14, which is where we want to be at this point. Weather is a little bit cooler, but humid for sure. I do get an occasional breeze, so that helps, but we are very sweaty. I'm having to slow down just a little bit because I have a sick kiddo at home that I have to check on once per mile, so that takes some time. First mile, I stopped to pet a cat and stopped twice to talk to neighbors, so that slowed me down just a little bit, but I try to make it up. So we are staying on course so far, sticking to the plan, and let's head into the next couple of miles. Okay, that's 4 miles done. We are still keeping it under 15 minutes. Breeze is picking up a little bit, which is great. Definitely helping with all the sweatiness. So I'm gonna pause for a moment so that I can get a little bit of nutrition in me before we move on for another few miles. So one of the things that I do in these training runs is I run the same approximately 1 mile loop over and over and over, because that's what we're going to be doing over the course of the race. 24 hours, same loop over and over and over again. So to kind of break things up and deal with the monotony, I always have music and podcasts. I like to, about every 6 months or so, do a update on just which podcasts I'm currently listening to and enjoying. I'll have a link up here to the most recent one that I did. But yeah, if you check my reviews playlist, I've done that several times. So, you know, if you're looking for something to listen to on a run, you can always do that. All right, we are 6 miles in and starting to get a little tight in my hamstring, which I know stems from a lower back problem. So we'll see if we can't get that worked out at the end of the run. But we're still keeping it at around 15 minutes. We're starting to go a little bit above 15 minutes. I'm starting to slow down a little, but this is why we practice these things. And it's why we try to go for 8 or 9 miles as opposed to only 6 miles. So we'll talk a little bit more about that strategy tomorrow, but for now, let's rack up a few more miles. All right, so we're at 9 miles. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna walk the rest of the way home, because at this point on race day, this is where I would take a rest and refuel break. I can go to the bathroom, stop at the aid station, get food, and recover for the next set of either 8 or 9 miles. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna walk the rest of the way home. We're gonna rehydrate, and we're going to eat a little bit of food once we get back home. I'm gonna take a massage gun to my lower back to see if that helps with some of the hamstring problems. And then we're going to go on with the rest of our day. And I'll be back in the morning with the same thing again for a long run. I'll catch you then. Good morning. We're back for long run day 2. And we're up early in the morning so that we can get this done, because I've got other stuff to go to and work on today. So we're just gonna knock this long run out and shower and move on. So a little bit of stiffness and soreness in the lower back, which is causing a little bit of hamstring pain, but I'm hoping that kind of works itself out as we get moving a little bit more. We got temperatures in the 50s. Sun is up, and I'm just ready to start moving. I've got my tailwind ready at the point where I loop back around. So we're gonna do this actually fasted and eat breakfast afterwards. And I'm going to fuel up after an hour, just like I did yesterday. So that's the plan, just keeping things slow, around a 15-minute mile or faster if I can manage it. Let's get this done. All right, so we are 3 miles in, still feeling a little bit of pain in my lower back, but not as much as I was when I first started. Had to slow down a little bit during that last mile because I had a little bit of a stomach cramp. So I had to kind of walk that off and then get going again. So able to stick to pretty close to 15-minute mile. I'm a little bit slower today. I don't know if it's because it's early, if it's because I'm tired from yesterday, but I'm still keeping it within a reasonable amount of time. And just kind of thinking through everything that I still need to do between now and the end of November. You may be wondering about the shoes, because runners do like to talk about what shoes they plan to wear. I am currently wearing the Asics Gel Kayanos, which are good. I do need the extra stability and support, but the current pair that I'm running in have nearly 500 miles on them, so I'm going to need to get some different shoes fairly soon. But they are comfortable. They are an option for a backup if it is raining that day. I need to keep switching out shoes. So, you know, I've got them all broken in, comfy and ready to go, but do need to get some newer shoes and make sure that those are good to go for race day. So that's what I'm thinking so far. Gotta go shoe shopping sometime soon. Okay, so we are 6 miles into our run. Decidedly slower than yesterday by about 10 seconds per mile. In the long run, that's not going to make a huge difference. So let's talk a little bit about why I'm pacing it this way. Now, having done this race before, this is a approximately 1 mile loop, and you just run it for however much you want over 24 hours. And we have people join us at the 12-hour mark for the 12-hour race, and then people will join us later on for the 6-hour race. But I'm self-crewed. You can set up your own aid station, and then there's a main aid station at the start finish line. And people I have seen will knock out a marathon, then sleep through the night, get up, knock out another marathon. I'm not able to do that because I know my body well enough to know that if I were to try that, my body would just seize up in the night. I would not get anything more than a marathon past that point. I could maybe limp through a few more miles, but that's not much more that I'd be able to do. And there are other people who do the same method that I do, which is just to go consistently at a slow pace through the night, taking breaks fairly often. So if I pace this the way that I'm wanting to, I should be able to divide the race up into 3-hour segments 8 times, and in each 3-hour segment be able to pull off around 8 miles and have 45 minutes to an hour to recover between each segment. I learned last year 15 minutes is not long enough. 30 minutes is pushing it. 45 minutes to an hour will probably be really good. If I feel myself starting to just kind of slow down a little bit, I may cut those breaks short just so I can get some extra movement in. But that's the idea, is to give myself plenty of time to power nap, recharge electronics, get food, and massage gun anything that needs to be done. So that is my thinking for how we are pacing this. That's my pacing strategy for the race. That's why we're practicing it that way. Let's go knock out 3 more miles and call it a day. All right, 9 miles. So what have I learned from doing back-to-back long runs? Today was definitely a little bit slower, and I think it's because I was dealing with a little more sciatica pain, which moves down into my hamstrings. So I'm going to have to make sure that I bring a massage gun to my aid station, make sure that I can work all of that out. And then also definitely make sure that I am bringing fuels that will go down easy. They've got plenty at the main aid station, but I need to have some of my own as well. And yeah, I think the main pain areas are going to be sciatica pain and quads, and that's kind of what I've been experiencing today. So I just got to learn to deal with that and keep pushing through. I think the pace is sustainable, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes when we test it all out in November. So if you found this interesting or enjoyable, why don't you let me know about it down in the comments below. While you're there, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just click that button and it'll keep you up to date on all the training that I'm doing and other videos that I have coming out all the time. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm so glad you could be here. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. I will see you later.